Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Ace of Vessels in the Waters of Life. And when this card came up today and I was thinking about it, the first thought was it's a new beginning. A new beginning in emotional fortitude. Okay, strengthen the emotions. All right. But then the other thought that came through was a new opportunity for love. Loving what you do, loving another person in a relationship, just taking on that new aspect of, the emotion of love. Pretty much that's it. All right. Now, the one thing that really catches my eye in this card is you have the Queen of Arrows down there, the swan. And, to me, you have that story of the ugly duckling, looking for that new beginning, and they find it. They turn themselves into a great, beautiful, swan. But this swan, this Queen of Arrows, also likes to move from pond to pond to pond to pond to pond. All right. Where I live, we see them in the lakes. We see them in the marshes, and we also see them in the canals as well as the spillways, things of that nature. And they're a beautiful, graceful bird. Okay, and you can be beautiful and graceful on your spiritual path as you're moving along. Now, this follows the King of Arrows and the Kingfisher. So as you're walking down this path, and you've got the King of Bows, the Adder, and the Kingfisher flying up around you, and you were coming upon that pond yesterday, and you stopped at this pond, and you let all thoughts go. You could hear the water running out of the cup, which really caught your gaze, and you were like, "Wow, how is that possible?" To where this cup is giving you a beautiful waterfall, and the elk is there, and the swan has come over from the pond that she's in, and this is like a transformative opportunity for you to look at your emotions, to look at your psychic ability, to look at what that water represents for you, movement of the soul, love, emotion, happiness, joy, right? And behind it, you have the tree. Now, that's not necessarily the world tree, but it could be. It could be your world tree. So what are you going to do? You sit down next to this pond, or you just keep on walking? Well, I know what I would do. I would sit down next to this pond, and I would just start thinking about, my last, this journey that I've been on. This journey of the spiritual path, with all the kings coming out with you, the queens, the knights, you had the green man and, the wood woes, the shaman. They all guided you to this point. And you start to feel that sense of joy, right? The sense of happiness of, what? I've been on this journey a long time, and I feel content. I feel comfortable to be able to sit down here next to this pool, drink of the waters, all right? Because when you drink of these waters, you get that ancient wisdom. When you sit next to this pool and you start to meditate, you start to think about the journey that you've been on. And then think about the journey that's coming ahead. And with that, you have a better respect for where you've come from and where you're going. And as you're sitting there in your calm spirit, you're content, you can hear and feel the spirit guides guiding you. You can feel the emotions that they have for you because they're happy for you. They're kind of like, your parents are watching you, your grandparents are watching you. And they're they take pride in the journey that you're on. And you can feel that. You can feel that emotion just welling up in you. And maybe it brings a tear to your eye. Maybe it makes you think about, life's too short. I don't have to, be in this relationship. I don't have to be in this job. The Kingfisher, the King of Arrows, he's giving you that clarity that's needed. Again, he is both at home in the air as well as in the water. And he's going to give you that clear thought process of what do you need to get, what do you need to let go of, right? What do you need to focus on? That's what he asks you, right? Where do you need to, put that focus? And when you realize everything that he's been talking to you about, and where you need to be taking charge is, the King of Bows, the passion. You've got the air energy and the fire energy here, and you start thinking about it. It's like, where's my legacy going? How are people? I don't want to say going to remember your spiritual path, but those that are close to you are going to look at it and say, you know what? They followed their heart. They followed their values, their morals. And that spiritual person over there, they were, they stayed in their emotional fulfillment. They knew what was going to fulfill them. And they stayed positive. They continued to work forward on walking their spiritual path, uplifting others. And that's what people are going to remember you by. So as you sit by this pool and you meditate, listen to what Spirit has to say to you. Feel what Spirit has to say to you. And then discern that message from that clarity from the King. Listen to the animals. Listen to the swan. Listen to the elk. Listen to the water running. It's calming, soothing. And when you're ready to start moving forward, do so. Knowing that as you do move forward, yes, there's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be obstacles. But there's also going to be joy, peace, contentment, happiness, love, and passion. So enjoy the time by the pool. This is the Ace of Vessels out of the Wildwood Tarot deck. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and give me a thumbs up. This is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. Stay safe, everybody.